Good morning to all. Today our topic is on condensers. Condenser is an important equipment located on high pressure side of the refrigeration system. In the refrigeration system, it is located at high pressure. At the same time, it is also called as a heat exchanger because it exchanges the heat from refrigerant to surroundings. Refrigerant to surroundings. We know already the condenser. Condenser means the condensation takes place. Condensation takes place. Condensation means it convert vapor to liquid. At the same time, the heat exchanger. It's also called as heat exchanger. It exchanges the heat from the refrigerant to surroundings. So it is located in between the compressor and expansion valve. This condenser removes the heat from the refrigerant and receive the heat. The refrigerant it receives the heat from the two stages. That is from ex evaporator. In the evaporator it absorbs the heat from the cooling media at one stage, and second stage in the compressor. While compressing the refrigerant, it raises the temperature. So this two-stage heat is rejected to the surrounding in the condenser. That is the main function of the condenser. And before entering into the condenser, the stage of the refrigerant is superheated stage. So if it is superheated, the before entering into the condenser, so this condenser first it cools the refrigerant to saturated temperature, then it is cooled to the saturated liquid state. So that is the main function of the condenser. So types of condensers. Condensers, the air cooled condensers, mainly three types of condensers: air cooled condensers, water cooled condensers, evaporative condensers. Air cooled condenser, only air is used as a cooling media to cool the refrigerant, so that is absorb the heat from the refrigerant, the condenser with the help of air only. So water is used as a cooling media, so water cooling refrigerant condensers. Evaporative means both air and water is used as a cooling media to absorb the heat from the refrigerant. So that is the evaporative condensers. So the air cooled condensers, again two types: chassis mounted condensers and remote air cooled condenser. What is chassis mounted condenser? Chassis mounted means the condenser is located near the compressor. Condenser is located near the compressor or nearby the compressor, that is on same base. Same base. So that is called as a chassis mounted condensers. So the remote air cooled condensers means the condenser is located away from the compressor, that is side of the wall or outside the room. So that is called as a remote air cooled condensers. It is not nearby the compressors. Suppose in case of the air is not flow properly in those places, some places. So the where the air is flow in a proper manner, that place the condenser is mounted there. The condenser is mounted there. The compressor is another place. So that is in case of the remote air cooled condensers. So next, water cooled condensers. These are shell and tube condensers, shell and coil condensers, double pipe condensers. Next, evaporative condensers. So now I start with air cooled condensers. Air cooled condensers. The air cooled condensers, the air is used as a cooling media. Air is used as a cooling media, that is to absorb the heat from the refrigerant. So again, this air cooled condensers, natural circulation of air or forced circulation of air. Natural means without any external device to flow the air. In case of the forced circulation, we use some fan like to circulation of air, that is the forced circulation. Forced circulation. Air cooled condensers are usually mainly the small capacity such as the refrigerators and small water coolers which are vertically wire and tube, the plate and the tube construction with the natural circulations of air. But window type air cooled air conditioning have the tubes such as the fins. These condensers are forced circulation of air, such as the condensers are more efficient and made in compact design because more quantity of air available. More quantity of air available. So air cooled condensers, the finned tube condensers. The finned means the fins are mounted on the tubes. Fins are mounted on the tubes. The main function of the tube is fins on the tube is to increase the area of cross section to dissipate more heat from the refrigerant. That is, while whenever the area of cross section increases, more area is contact with the surface, more heat is dissipated from the tube. So the refrigerant from heat is dissipated to the tube. From the tube, the heat is dissipated to air. So that is the principle of the finned. The finned tube condensers cooled by forced circulation of air, as shown figure here. So this a fan with the help of motor, it rotates. Due to this rotation of the fan, the air is sucked from this side and flow through these pipes. So the refrigerant vapor is coming from this line and entering into these tubes and moves downward. This refrigerant vapor is converted to water. Due to the gravity, the water moves downward and collected at the receiver, and the liquid refrigerant goes to the expansion valve. So these are the fins. These are the fins to increase the area of cross sections. So this is the forced air cooling condenser. So if there is no fan here, that is called as a natural cooling. It is called as a natural cooling condensers. So next, water cooled. So these air cooled condensers are small capacity like 3 tons. The size of the condenser is limited the limit size of the chassis. Disadvantages: the dirty and foreign matters may be carried over the air to the surface of the condensers. That is the main disadvantages. The water cooled condensers. The water cooled condenser, the cooling medium is used as a condenser. These condenser water. These are all used in small sizes to the types of refrigeration machine. Small size and types of refrigerating machine. These condensers are suitable large quantity of clean water is available. The cooling water is supplied to the condenser in two ways. Large quantity of clean water is available. So here the two ways of supplying water: wastewater supply and recirculated water. Wastewater means the water is large quantity of water. It is disposal of water is not problem. Where the large quantity of water is available and the disposal of water is not a problem. So that is the wastewater condensers here. So the recirculation of water, the water is circulated again and again. After cooling, the water in cooling medium or spray ponds. So the recirculation of after used water in the condenser. So that is the recirculated systems. So these condensers are again three types: shell and tube condenser, shell and coil condenser, double pipe condensers. See here the shell and tube condensers. So this is a condenser looking like a shell type, shell type. So the outside design is shape is just like a shell. The tubes are fitted inside the shell. The refrigerant is flow. The vapor refrigerant is flow through these tubes, these white tubes. Okay, the refrigerant is flow through these tubes, flow through these tubes. See here, the water is entering into the shell. So this water contact with the outer surface of the tubes. The inner of the tube is refrigerant, the outer of the tube is water, cooled water. This water absorbs the heat from the refrigerant. Due to the density, it moves upward. The low density water is bottom, high density of water is at moves to top side. This high density water is moves outside. After it absorbs the heat from the refrigerant, it converts to low density water. The low density water is goes to the water out. Water out. So that is the shell and tube condensers. Inside the shell, the tubes are fixed. The refrigerant go through the tubes. So that's why it is called the shell and tube condensers. Shell and tube condenser. So shell and tube condensers. Next, shell and coil type. In this shell and coil type, and this shell is located in vertical position. In case of shell and tube condenser, it is located in the position in horizontal. So this shell and coil type condensers, the position is vertical. Position is vertical. The water entered from the bottom into the coil type coil. In this coil, the water is circulated. The water is circulated through this coil. So the vapor refrigerant enters from the top of the shell. So this vapor refrigerant touches with this tube. So in this tube, the refrigerant is this, the refrigerant is touches the tube. In this tube, the cooled water is flow through these tubes. So whenever the touches the refrigerant, these tubes, it absorbs it rejects the heat to the water. So this cooled water absorbs the heat from the refrigerant, and the density decreases. The cooled water converted into warm water. Cooled water is converted to warm water and moves to upward. So this vapor refrigerant is converted into liquid refrigerant and collected at bottom. So that is in case of the shell and coil type condenser. So tube in tube type. So tube in tube. So ట్యూబ్ ఇన్ ట్యూబ్ టైప్ అంటే ఇందులో డబల్ ట్యూబ్ కండెన్సర్ అంటారు. ఒక ట్యూబ్లో పైన ఇంకొక ట్యూబ్ ఉండడాన్ని ట్యూబ్ ఇన్ ట్యూబ్ అంటారు, ఆర్ డబల్ ట్యూబ్ అంటారు అనమాట. See here, so this this is the one tube, so on the tube inside one more tube, so that is called as a tube in tube or double tube. So the water is enter inside inner tube and flow moves upward direction. So the refrigerant is entered outer tube. So the refrigerant is circulated outer surface of the inner tube and moves this downward. So the water moves one side, the refrigerant moves in opposite direction. So due to this cool water, it absorbs the heat from the vapor refrigerant, and this water is converted to warm water. So this vapor refrigerant is converted into liquid refrigerant liquid refrigerant and collected bottom. That is the tube in tube type condensers.